All right, everyone, good afternoon. This is Meet the Three Companies Hire Right Now. My name is Rebecca Luber. I'm the Director of Career and Business Engagement with the University of Minnesota Alumni Association. Thank you and welcome to today's webinar. As always, we'd like to thank our members and donors of the Alumni Association for powering our alumni webinar series. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank our webinar sponsors today, the Pillars of Prospect Park and the Opium Builders of Towns Creator of Value Group. I'd also like to thank Exit Lakes Realty Premier for their sponsorship today, and Robert Half for their sponsorship. Thank you so much to our sponsors for making this webinar possible. You might be also interested in some upcoming webinars. Some of those upcoming webinars are found on this, are listed here on the slide, but for more information, you may go to umnalumni.org/virtual. All right, so if you'd like to listen in by phone instead of your desktop or your laptop, perhaps, you can listen in by phone by dialing the number on your screen and entering the number you see here. So I'm going to begin to introduce our three panelists today. Our first panelist is Amber. 1 second, please. Oops. Our first panelist today is Amber Peterson. Amber Peterson is a recruitment manager for Fairview Health Services, where she oversees recruitment for primary care, pharmacy, rehab, shared business services, as well as the Ebenezer branch of the system. She started with Fairview 5 years ago as a contract recruiter and has slowly worked her way into a leadership role and most recently a recruitment manager position. Welcome, Amber. Next, we have Chad Schwendeman, is a broker and owner of Exit Lakes Realty Premier with offices in Brainerd, Crosby, and Minneapolis. Chad has built one of the top teams in the entire country, and last year sold 975 properties, totaling over $200 million in sales. Some of Chad's top agents sell over $30 million a year and earn well over $300,000 in annual income. Chad has worked with Barbara Corcoran from ABC Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington as Seen on TV creator and Shark Tank star, and many others. Welcome to Chad. Next, we have Jackie Seaton. Jackie Seaton is a senior staffing manager with Account Temps in St. Paul, a division of Robert Half. Account Temps provides temporary employees for employers in areas such as financial analysis, inventory audit, accounts payable and receivable, payroll, general ledger, and bookkeeping. Jackie Seaton has more than 5 years of experience in the staffing industry. She started her career at Robert Half in 2015 as an office team staffing manager, then became an account temps staffing manager in 2015 and was promoted to account temps senior staffing manager in November 2016. Welcome, Jackie, and welcome to our panelists. You may now put on your videos. Say hello to everyone. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Chad. Hi, Amber.
Hello.
Yeah, Jackie, if you could kindly unmute yourself, great. We'll just get started. We'll just go down the line here and have everyone tell us a little bit more about yourself. So we'll start with Jackie, then Chad, and then Amber.
Yes. Hi, everybody. So great to connect with you today. As everybody had mentioned, I specialize in accounting and finance staffing. However, within Robert Half, we do placement for IT, legal, marketing, PR, and pretty much any kind of corporate office setting position. We help organizations hire for those positions. I specialize on the contract side. We do also have a permanent placement division as well. So depending on whether you've been displaced due to COVID or other reasons, or you're just simply looking to make a change in your employment, we can help people at all levels of their career. And yeah, excited to be with you guys today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Chad Schwendeman, broker owner of Exit Lakes Realty Premier and based out of Brainerd, Minnesota, but we do have offices in Crosby and Minneapolis. And been in real estate now for 21 years, and we're looking to hire some team members that are looking to get into the fun world of real estate.
Hi, and I'm Amber Peterson. I'm here working on behalf of Ebenezer. I do also support Fairview Health Services, and we also have a wide variety of different openings ranging from entry level to business staff. So excited to learn more about you guys and support our business.
Great. So our next question is more broad. So tell us about your organization and maybe something that viewers might not know about your organization that you'd like to share, or something unique.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about Robert Half. We've been in operations for a little over 50 years here in the Twin Cities. We have 6 different branches throughout the Minnesota area, but we are an international company. So wherever you're looking to work, whether it be locally or abroad, we can support people in their job search. In addition to my role with the Account Temps Division, our corporate offices sit in California. So if you're looking for more of a corporate environment, we do have teams hiring down there. And some things that I think most people don't know about Robert Half. I mentioned earlier, we specialize in accounting and finance for my division, but we also have other areas of specialization. We're most well known for accounting and finance, since that's where our specialization started 90 years ago. But we also staff for a variety of pretty much anything in a corporate setting. I think another thing a lot of people don't know about staffing agencies in general, specifically with Robert Half, is we are a free resource to candidates like yourselves who might be looking for new job opportunities. Organizations and companies across the Twin Cities are the ones who pay us fees to identify talent for their roles. So we're a free resource to anybody looking for opportunities. In addition to helping you find jobs, we also have online resources for opportunities for you to continue education, free resources to enhance your technical or soft skills. And we also do free support for resume reviews and critiques, helping people overview their cover letters, interview preparation. All of that goes into what we can offer for candidates who are looking for new opportunities, and it's all free services to you.
Great.
Perfect. Yeah, and in reference to our organization, we have about 20 realtors that work with us on our team, and we have a staff of 12. So we have 12 full-time employees that help us from transactions to call centers, photographer, etc. We're a little different than most real estate companies, as we actually pay our agents to get licensed and pay them a salary to make the transition. Our first-year agents average over $60,000 a year, and agents that have been on our team for over 2 years make over $100,000 a year. So we've got a really good model that's unique. I know a lot of times agents get into real estate and don't have the systems and the processes, and we teach them that. And plus, we spend a lot of money to generate activity and leads, and our agents excel in this environment.
And a little bit more about Ebenezer is we are the largest senior living operator in Minnesota and have been around for over 100 years. In 1995 is when we combined with M Health Fairview, so we now offer services for the whole continuum of care, from childbirth all the way to end of life. So we do have a wide variety of different openings, as I had mentioned, some of those being in our corporate type settings, as well as entry level.
Great. Thank you. All right. So what are some functional areas that you're looking to hire for right now? And what experience levels are you looking for? What is that range? How much experience are you usually looking for some of the jobs? And how does that vary from position to position?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Robert Half, we hire and staff for positions of all ranges. So whether you're entry level right out of school, or you're a veteran and subject matter expert in your field, we can support your job search and career aspirations at all levels. My team specifically for accounting and finance, I specialize in that entry level up to senior space. So like an accounting clerk, the entry level staff accountant position, entry level financial analyst, those sorts of roles, up to a senior accountant or senior financial analyst. All of our our divisions operate that way. So again, whether you're starting your career off or you're pivoting at whatever stage, 3 to 5 years, 10 to 15 plus, we can help and work with people at all levels. Right now, for where the current employment market's at, we're seeing a large demand for people with 1 to 3 years plus of experience. So that seems to be where a lot of things are trending right now. As far as the positions that we're hiring for, it's across the board, whether it's, again, administrative or accounting functions. We're also seeing big upticks for our legal division, specifically in response to the coronavirus. A lot of companies are needing legal support to respond to some of the things going on. We also have a marketing and PR division that's been busy as well, because a lot of companies are trying to manage their social media in response to local activities as well as COVID. So that's a big spike too. And then IT's been very busy, as many of you can imagine, with so many companies having to move their operations remotely. It's been a big spike for help desk or just setting up systems administrators or what have you. So I think one of the great things about working with Robert Half is, in addition to just supporting a variety of functional roles, because we work with organizations based on trends, we tend to stay plugged in with the companies that need help most. So whether it be looking to get a foot in the door somewhere or trying to pivot because you might have been displaced because of COVID or what have you, there's a lot of different areas that we can help get you plugged into. In addition to that too, from an administrative capacity, if you are looking for that first position, we're seeing that a lot of call centers are needing help just to respond to a variety of activities and events going on. So those are some areas that we're seeing a big spike in staffing for.
Great.
We're looking to bring on 2 to 3 new buyer's agents for our Brainerd office and 2 buyer's agents for our Minneapolis office. We're able to generate literally hundreds of leads a month, and we're just not able to keep up with all the leads that are coming in. So we're looking for people with a degree, but prefer those that do not have real estate experience. We prefer to get them licensed and train them to how we like to our processes and systems, so we don't have to break any bad habits.
Great.
And we also have a wide variety of different openings at Ebenezer. Some of our entry level, if you're looking to get into patient care, is something called a resident assistant that works at the site with the seniors. They do a lot of med passing, bathing, things of that nature. But then we also have, our RNs who work at the sites if you do have that RN background, and then as well as some positions in our corporate office, whether you have any experience or are new, with some marketing and advertising positions that we have to help get new patients into our assisted living sites. So again, wide variety. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone has on those specific positions, as well as many others.
Yeah. Would you say the positions that are available right now would be best carried out on a part-time or full-time basis, or what does that look like? Thinking about real estate, Chad, is that something that someone would do as a full-time position or something they would do on a part-time level? Would that change how successful they are in a given year? And then Amber too, as well, and if Jackie would like to chime in about whether these positions are part-time or full-time.
Yeah, our position would be full-time. So this is truly a career, and real estate, people say our hours are obviously when others don't work. So it's a lot of nights and weekends when we're showing homes. But yeah, it's definitely a full-time position for us.
Yeah.
And we have both. We have part-time, casual, so on a pickup basis, all the way to full-time. So just depending on your needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Amber, we're hiring for both as well. I will say the majority of the positions we staff for are full-time, but we do see those part-time opportunities too.
Great. And then Jackie, at your organization, Robert Half, do you offer both temporary roles and then direct to hire roles as well? What does that look like? What does that all mean to people?
Yeah, absolutely. So we staff for both contract, temporary, or contract to hire, temp to hire, and then direct hire placement. So contract roles are essentially temporary positions where you're an employee of Robert Half, but you're working and doing supporting activities for a client of ours. So you'll work on site with an organization and do the job as if you were a permanent employee there, but it's on a contract basis. We cover payroll, taxes, and everything like that. So whatever pay you're getting is all take home to you, and then we just charge our client paying a fee for the service. Works the same on the direct hire side, except for you're just essentially working with us to be an added resource to your search. So when we work with companies who maybe don't post positions, or they're struggling to find the right applicant, or maybe they're doing a confidential replacement and they can't advertise the position online, that's when they'll turn to our firm to find a qualified person who's been vetted to be able to step into the position on a permanent basis. So we can help on all fronts.
Great, thank you. All right, so as someone who may be on the hiring side of things, and you've had experience interviewing multiple people, as well as hiring a number of candidates, what do you typically look for in an applicant, especially for some of the jobs that you're hiring for right now?
Yeah, do you want me to start again? I'll go ahead. Perfect. So I think a lot of the things that we look for are some of the standard, people who have strong communication skills, good follow-up skills, people who come prepared to interviews. I think the biggest thing that a lot of our clients are looking for right now are people who are going that extra step and looking to differentiate themselves. So whether that's just sending a follow-up email to thank them for the time over the interview, or it's, taking that extra time on the front end to really research the company and ask thoughtful questions during the interview process. All of those little things are what going to stand out to organizations as you're looking to apply for a position. And it's key things that we look for too when we're qualifying candidates and determining if they're going to be a match for one of our clients. We look for the strong communication skills, both orally and written. We look for strong technical skills, specifically within Excel or whatever your functional areas are, being really skilled in those areas and being able to speak to examples of how you've leveraged those. We see technology is continuing to change and ever grow, so being able to stay on the forefront of that and show that you're doing ongoing education or that you're self-studying to keep those skills sharp are all key things managers look for and what we look for as well.
Yeah, so what we're looking for is people that are passionate about real estate and love houses and enjoy the HGTV shows. Those are always fun to watch. But really, like Jackie said, for us, it's about relentless follow-up and great communication. We're helping people with their largest purchase. We don't take that lightly. And, a lot of times we do get calls at night, and we always try and respond timely, because if it's important to the clients, it has to be important to us. And really people that want to better their lives and really they're a business within a business. We want those people that are self-motivated and willing to do the things to be successful.
Yeah.
And I think for Ebenezer, we look for people who are really passionate about patient care. We're taking care of patients. Even in my role working in HR, we're hiring people on a daily basis that are taking care of a lot of times our elderly population. So people that are really passionate about that and care about the residents that are in the site at the end of the day, as well as, the typical great communication, things of that nature. But I'd say our biggest one is really looking for those passionate individuals.
Thanks. My next question is, so I have two questions here, so we'll see how we tackle these. What advice do you have for job seekers during the application phase? And then my second question is, what advice do you have to offer for those once they make it to the interview portion? So feel free to tackle those however you like. And I'll start with Amber, so I'm going to work backwards this time.
Sure. So when you're in the job application process, one thing that we look for is people who are following the instructions and filling the application out to the full extent. If there's something that you have questions on or things like that, we do have a general career inbox that you can certainly reach out to, but we would rather have more information than not enough, just so that we can make sure that our applicants are meeting the qualifications for the position and we have enough information to present the candidates to our hiring leaders. Once you get to that interview portion, whether it's a phone interview or an in-person interview with the leader, some advice that I would have is to just do your research on the organization. That goes a long way with myself as a recruitment manager, as well as when we bring you in for an in-person interview. Connect with the recruiter that you're working with. They can answer additional questions on what that unit or location looks like and kind of the reporting structure and things like that. So that's really, really helpful, as well as, make sure that when you show up for your interview, you're prepared with your resume, cover letter, all of that information, as well as dress professionally.
Yeah, as far as advice for job seekers during our job application phases, just being very detailed. We also have our applicants take a disc profile, and a lot of times we'll get the resume but not the disc, so I just complete the steps of the application. And then as far as the interview portion, I always tell people just be genuine and be who you are. Try not to answer questions the way you feel the interviewer wants them answered, but just be sincere and genuine. And again, dress for success is always important for us. We want to look the part, and I'm amazed how some people come in for interviews dressed in torn jeans and t-shirts. So.
Sorry about that. We're working remote. I have dogs.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, I would echo everything that's already been said. As far as people who are starting their job search or at the application phase, it's definitely COVID's thrown a curveball for everybody right now. So it's not an impossible time to find jobs. So it just takes a little bit more effort and time on the applicant side than it did 6 months ago. So really continue applying. Before, if you've been applying for positions and maybe you started your job search within the last 5 to 7 years, it might have been a little bit faster to find a position than it will take today. So it's just making sure that you're spending that extra time applying for any and all opportunities that you are thinking you're qualified for or interested in. In addition to that, sending the follow-up letters and reaching out, I think is an old kind of lost art to see what the status of your application is, but it's definitely something that I think stands out to many hiring managers like ourselves that want to see those people who are willing to put in the extra time and go the extra mile to get their application noticed. As far as the interviewing process, in addition to making sure that you're well prepared, that you've studied the job description and have spent time researching the company, as well as coming to the interview dressed well and prepared to speak about your strengths, I think it's really important to practice answering interview questions. It sounds kind of silly, but even just taking the time to say your responses out loud to yourself, looking up some common interviewer questions and taking that time to see how you're going to respond. Sometimes putting those sentences together in your mind is easy, but then when you're trying to actually answer it live with somebody, it comes out a little jumbled. So just setting some time aside to really practice your responses and sharpen those interviewing skills is going to help set you apart in a time and day and age where you want to make sure you're standing out.
Right. I think you stressed some very important things, Chad, Amber, and Jackie, about really paying attention to detail when it comes to filling out the job application, ensuring that you're not missing any pieces to the application, that's really a complete application itself. And I would also add, like, double checking for any errors and spellings and things of that nature, just because in a tight job market of any sort, you definitely want to put your best foot forward and not cut yourself out of the process because of some minor mistakes on your application. So yes, thank you so much for that input. I think it's always really great to hear the employer's perspective on this topic. So great. Let's see. All right, so now I'm going to turn it over to the audience for Q&A. And so the audience can ask us questions through the Q&A box, and we'll do our best to address them during this webinar. So we have a good 20 minutes or so for Q&A, and so we'll take it from here. I'm just going to sit here and I'm seeing some questions kind of populate. And Amber, Chad, Jackie, if you see questions that I'm not getting to and you want to grab one, just kind of give me a shout and go for it. So let's see here.
Yeah, there were a couple of questions that were directed already at Robert Half I can answer quick.
Yeah.
One of the questions that came up is, does Robert Half work with small companies in addition to corporate companies? We work with organizations of all shapes and sizes. So one of my clients that I work with every year, it's her and 2 other people. She's the business owner and has 2 employees, and they just use seasonal support for their business. And then we work with large Fortune 100, Fortune 50, Fortune 500 companies as well. So we span pretty much all gamut in industries. And then in addition to that, there was a question around the ownership of organizations that we work with. Same answer. All shapes and sizes. So privately owned, publicly traded, it doesn't really matter who the owners are. We work with pretty much every kind of company.
There is a question here. When do you recommend following up on the application status? And I'm going to add, and what should you write when you are following up on the application status?
Any particular, I can just go ahead and start. So I certainly think that it's helpful to follow up on the status of your application, just because right now, especially with COVID, we started the hiring process. We may have started but pre-COVID, and those positions, right when that happened, a lot of them were put kind of on hold, just kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with the current situation. And now we're back in the interviewing and hiring process for the majority of our service lines. So I would suggest reaching out to your recruiter if you haven't heard anything. And honestly, it can be just short and sweet, just following up, seeing what the status of my application is, and most of the time they'll be happy to respond to you with the specifics of where they're at with the position.
Great. I think Chad maybe wants to add something there.
Yeah, I think the follow-up, a lot of times we'll have applicants follow up within a week, and that seems pretty timely. Gives us time to process the application or review things. So I do think follow-up's important and kind of puts you top of mind too with the people that are hiring. So
Definitely. Looks like there's some questions here. I see a lot of remote positions on Robert Half website. How would you go about going about those? But I guess a general question I have, what do the positions look like at your organization in terms of remote work, generally for all three panelists here? Are there any available? What does that look like? Yes.
So any of our patient care positions are going to be at the site. So those resident assistant, any culinary positions, the hands-on, those are still working at the assisted living or TCU site. However, we do have a wide variety of corporate type positions. So my role, as you heard with my dogs barking, I am fully remote for the time being. And we plan on being remote until at least September of this year. So typically we're in the office. Right now, we're all working remotely, just with COVID, so.
yeah, with us, it's a little different because obviously we're doing some virtual showings, but ultimately we are working with clients. We haven't sold any homes where nobody's physically has not walked through the home, but the first showing could be done virtually or through FaceTime. And then the second showing, a lot of times they will show up. And we have agents that work out of their home as well as in the office. We do a lot of webinars and as well as Zoom meetings for those agents that don't have time to come into the office.
Yeah, and then we're as a company almost 100% remote right now. We have been for some time. So we're all operating remotely, and a lot of our clients have had to dramatically shift to remote operations. So we've actually been supporting a lot of companies who didn't have remote capabilities, period, helping them leverage our technology to stand up a remote operation. So we have lots of resources to helping people identify remote positions if that's of interest to you for now or long term. We also see it as a trend. Most companies who were 100% anti-remote are starting to see, okay, people can be effective at home. So we're starting to see a big shift in that. And as far as exploring specific remote positions, if anybody who's interested in a opportunity at the end of this, I believe our contact information will be showed, and you can just shoot me an email, let me know what kind of positions you're interested in, and I can tell you a little bit more about if those remote offerings are available for those sorts of roles.
Great, that's good segue to my next question. I saw a few questions about interviewing and how a person could set up an interview with one of you, and then, or how would they go about, what would be the next step? They were really interested in a position with your organization. What should they do next? Go ahead,
Chad, do you want to go?
I'll go first. They could just go to joinourexitteam.com and apply there. So joinourexitteam.com. Upload their resume, they'll take the disc profile, and then we will take it from there. And there's some really good information about our company on that site as well.
Awesome. And then anybody who's interested in opportunities through Robert Half, whether it be my specialization in accounting or elsewhere with any of our other divisions, if you just want to send me an email including your resume, and then in the subject line, just put U of N webinar so I know where you're coming from. And we can start a dialogue about what kind of opportunities you'd like to explore, and then which division would best match your career interests, and then get you connected to a recruiter who would be able to start the interview process and explore opportunities with our clients. And then my email address, I think is shown at the end, but it's Jackie, JACQUE.Seaton, SEATON @accounttemps.com.
Yes. I'll definitely be sending out the slides today and the recording, as well as each of your contact information in my email that I will follow up with everyone who registered today. So they will receive all that information in the email.
Please feel free to share my contact information as well, and I can follow up with specific questions.
Thank you.
I apologize. I must have gotten kicked off.
Let's see here. I think there's some questions here about training for Chad. What sort of training does your firm provide? And same goes for Jackie as well. So what does training look like? I guess this is a good question for everyone here today.
Yeah, so for us, we'll do 2 months of training. And a lot of times that's working with my office manager as well as the agents directly. And so we do both shadowing as well as webinars and different ways to teach them, how to go about selling homes. So it's really a hands-on approach. And like I said, most of our agents, their first year will average 50 homes that they sell in the first year, which is phenomenal. So the industry average is about 4, so we're dramatically higher than that. But that's done through our 2-month training program.
Thank you.
Yeah, as far as training goes, every company that we work with is a little different. So some of our clients, they need people who can jump in with little to no training. And then other organizations we work with have very robust training processes in place. So whenever we're discussing an opportunity with a potential applicant, we walk through what that onboarding and training process is going to look like. So that way, if you're somebody who feels like they need a bit more hands-on training, we'll make sure you're lined up with an opportunity that will correlate to that, versus if you're somebody that likes to learn while you go and you don't feel like you need the hands-on help, and then we can make sure to explore those sorts of roles. In addition to the clients that we work with, Robert Half also has training and skill enhancement opportunities for anybody who registers to work through our firm. So you don't even have to be placed through us to be able to gain access to those. We have over 6,000 free online classes, anything from entry-level customer service skills up to more complex systems work. So not all of the courses are going to be super in-depth, but if you're just looking to kind of start exploring and get some entry-level training enhancements, we have all of those available.
Great, thank you. And somewhere along those lines, there's a question here. As soon as I start learning one skill set, it seems like another skill set becomes more important. It feels like a whack-a-mole, just can't seem to hit the right target at the right time. Technology keeps changing, and contrary to that, some people say learning to code is not easy and it's not for everyone. Advice. So kind of advice on keeping up to date with technology and just skills that employers are looking for. What are some general advice that you might have?
Let's go first.
Chad, I can go first. Or Chad, if you want to go first, I feel like I've been going first.
You can go first.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I think I lost you for a second. As far as just kind of developing those skills, it is a challenge because, to your point, technology is ever evolving and changing. So unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to master one skill set and never have to continue developing and learning. So I think people who take that mindset that learning is an ongoing skill and something that you want to continue to develop in is the best way to approach it. As far as learning a specific thing, from a coding perspective, I don't specialize in the IT space, so I can't speak to if there's some tips and tricks out there, but it's certainly something that I could follow up with our technology division on and see if they have any recommendations. The nice thing about working with staffing firms too is we can keep you connected into what are those trending areas, what we're seeing are spikes as far as what skills make sense to continue focusing on, and then what's maybe a skill that's dying out there. Back in the day, people used to always put the entire Microsoft suite skills. They'd say, I'm comfortable with PowerPoint, Word, Excel. And now most professionals are starting to recognize that most people in the market are comfortable with those programs. So being able to see what's next and what's out there are areas that our recruiters can give you insight on and say, here are some trending tech specializations we're seeing. I know for the accounting and finance side, any kind of ERP that you can get exposure to, whether that be just basic QuickBooks or something more complex like an Oracle or SAP, anytime you can continue to develop your knowledge in those systems, it's always going to make you a more marketable candidate.
Yeah, I would just say real estate always continues to evolve, so it's always changing. So it's important to stay on the cutting edge of things. And we do trainings, weekly trainings in our office, and I do travel across the country and speak at different events and learn from some of the top teams in the country. So I take back those nuggets and share it with our team. But that's one of the exciting things about real estate is it's always evolving and changing, and it's always definitely interesting and fast paced.
Similar with the Ebenezer technology. So we don't expect someone who doesn't come from the healthcare field to come in and have experience with that specific technology. So we do have some trainings and onboarding that would train you fully on how to properly utilize our electronic medical record systems.
Great, thank you. Looks like there's a question here for Chad. Could you discuss what differentiates your agency from your competitors in regards to your agents? Are there special benefits, tools, marketing capabilities that your agents receive compared to competitor agencies?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I spent a lot of money advertising. That's good and bad. So we spend over $90,000 a month in marketing, and most agents aren't really capable or able to do that. As far as what differentiates our team from other offices is really our philosophy is it's not quantity, it's the quality of the agent. And so our agents on average sell about 70 homes a year, and they're really the best of the best. I have a couple of agents that will approach 140 homes that they'll sell this year. And so we really give them the platform to really excel and create a lifestyle that's incredible for both themselves and their family. And that's just really good culture, great environment. And again, the agents we have are truly the best of the best. So we've been blessed that way, and it takes a village to raise new agents. So we have a team approach as far as bringing these new agents on and making sure they're successful. And again, to sell 50 homes in your first year is a pretty astonishing feat. And our new agents do that on a regular basis. And again, that's just because of the quality of the individuals we have on the team who are willing to take the time to help them and make sure their learning curve, which typically can take 2 to 3 years, we want to shorten that down to 6 to 7 months.
Oh, great. Let's see. Those are all the questions I see we have right now in the queue. Any more? I'm just kidding. So another question for Chad. How long does it take to get a real estate license provided that you passed the first time?
Yeah, so it's 90 hours. And again, we pay you while you're taking your exam and your licensing. So that's always the tough part for a lot of applicants is they don't have income. So to step out for 90 hours and take your test and get licensed through the state and federal, it's hard. So we actually pay them for the licensing and pay them to get licensed during that time frame so they can make that transition. But it's 90 hours, and you can do it online. There's a lot of great companies out there, or you can do it in person as well.
Great. And Amber, could you tell us a little more about the training that your organization provides to those who are onboarding, and what does that look like at this time?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our training for the most part is done either virtually or with social distancing in mind. So we do have day one is new hire orientation, where we just cover the organization, make sure you get your badge, all of that, which has been done at the site that you're hired at this point in time. From there, there's some virtual trainings that include how we utilize or how you would pass medications, proper breathing techniques, really how to take care of our patients. And those are done through LMS modules. And then we do also have a full day training at the site that you're hired, making sure that we can keep everyone 6 feet apart and social distance during that training period. But that also covers some of our electronic medical records.
Great. So see if there are any more questions. So any last words of advice or things you'd like for our audience members to know about your organization or the opportunities that are available? And we can start with Jackie.
Perfect. Thank you. I would just say to not get discouraged. I know right now for a lot of people who are looking for opportunities, in the past, it might have been, like we mentioned before, pretty easy to step into a role. It's going to take a little bit more time and effort right now with the current economic standing. So be persistent. Don't get discouraged. Continue applying. Continue following up. And I always recommend to get connected with a staffing firm like ours because you'll be able to explore opportunities that aren't out there. So continue to leverage your network, whether it be through a staffing firm, family, friends, and what have you, and really lean on those people in your network to find opportunities and any recommendations that they have as well for those roles that you're following up on.
Great.
Okay, I would just say follow your dreams. You guys are an exciting time of your life, and don't settle. And the one thing with real estate is everybody loves houses and loves to talk about real estate, and it's really it's a passion for all the agents on this team, and just follow your passion. So don't settle. Sky's the limit, and the future is very bright for everybody on this webinar, I believe.
Yeah, and I would say, similar things, but also really make sure that you're utilizing your network. So you have 3 people on the call today with contact information for all of us. So reach out if you have additional questions. We all have a wide variety of different openings, it sounds like, and those range from entry level to individuals who have a lot of years of experience. So utilize those connections throughout your network and ask questions and get more information. But yeah, also make sure that whatever position that you go into, that it's a right fit for you and that you are passionate about what you do at the end of the day. And when you are, it's very easy to grow in your field and continue to prove yourself and move into new roles.
Thank you. That was all great information, great advice. Yes, we talked about a lot about networking, and I'd like to give a plug about for our Maroon and Gold Network. And so the Maroon and Gold Network is for University of Minnesota students and University of Minnesota alumni to connect with one another. And that's just a great platform where alumni have raised their hands and said, yes, I want to network with others. And it's a great way to meet others who are also open to networking, and if they've raised their hand to do so. And you can even set up informational interviews where you get to ask questions about a person's day-to-day experience in their job and what that field's like. And that's just a great platform to do that. And I'd also encourage our viewers to really think about LinkedIn as well as a great resource. And so really using LinkedIn to find others in a field that you're interested in, potentially working in, and connect and reach out to them to connect with them and do informational interviews. And the way you would search that is just type in the University of Minnesota or University of the university that you attended, and then search for alumni. There's an alumni feature on the right side, and you can navigate that by filtering alumni by field or college or where they're working at. So that's another great resource as well. So definitely utilize your resources, and I'll be providing contact information for each of our panelists today in my follow-up email that I should get out to everyone by tomorrow afternoon, along with the recording of this webinar and the slides as well. So thank you so much for participating. Thank you to Jackie, Chad, and Amber for participating in today's webinar and for your